Space Radio, getting your body groove, finding my Hi, everybody. Welcome again to the Dear Ibby podcast. And we have here Damola with us for part 2 of Will They or Won't They? Love is Blind, season 7, part 2. Can we get into it?
Can we get into the chaos?
The mess, the drama, everything. Oh my gosh.
The toxic?
All of the words in the dictionary at this point.
Seriously.
Right?
Seriously, I was shook. I was like, this is
Very.
not what I was rooting for y'all. I was rooting for y'all.
I was clutching my invisible pearls like, and I text you and I was like, oh,
Did you?
what is happening?
Right. Because I had watched it like before you, and I was like, oh, when you get to those scenes,
Yeah.
those bombshells, let me know.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yes. All right. So let's get into it. I'm gonna jump right in with the ultimate disrespect, Mr. Steven. What?
Can we have a round of applause for the iconic Venmo alert that went off? Because come on.
Yes.
Come on. Like
Yes.
I was so proud of that moment. But rewinding before that, that man was giving. You know what? I'm very critical and apparently a Virgo, but that man was giving poverty and delusions. Like, what is wrong with you?
So let me take it a step back here. All right, so Monica and Steven, apparently Steven had a sleep study. So Monica did do a couple of interviews and she verified that, yes, he was at a sleep study. He shared his location, shared pictures, and she confirmed he was at a sleep study. But then Steven was saying he had a few drinks, so that's why he was sexting or kinking, texting some other woman. And my entire face was just like jaw drop.
Seriously.
Jaw drop. And if you remember the first episode we did, and I was saying how Steven was hiding something. Like,
yes, I was talking about the self-sabotage behavior. He called himself a cheater, and she apologized for him.
Yep.
He called himself, a cheater. He said that he was talking about his finances. He seemed insecure. He said the ex was too good for him. And we were talking about, how that self-sabotage behavior, that if the man says he's insecure and he's not worthy of a good woman and you're a good woman, pack your bags and leave.
Yeah, take his word as it is. He said it and he's giving you an out. But I am so proud of Monica for not making an excuse for him, because honestly, at that moment, she knew, this was it. Yeah. There's no second chance. Hopefully, there's no second chance. And a part of me also felt like Steven wanted to get caught.
He did. So something about his behavior, if you watch the before that scene where the scene where he said, yeah, I deleted the text. I didn't want to see it either. Like, I'm sorry, what? But outside of that scene, it felt like the mask came off. Like he even seemed more confident in that scene to me. Like,
ready to go.
He was ready to go. He's like, oh, great, you found the text? Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like, now you're confident all of a sudden. You didn't want this relationship to begin with. Like, why are you even here?
Exactly. And Taylor, when she was consoling Monica, I thought Steven wasn't even in the apartment. And then here he comes in the kitchen, just there watching everything.
Casually chilling, I love that little like friendship triangle when Taylor and Garrett were consoling her, and being really supportive. I was like, oh, I'm so happy she had that, because what a crazy violating moment for that man to be. And can we talk about the craziness of you being at a sleep study and texting fetish kinky things, but then it also drunk at a sleep study at that? You're not supposed to do that. And then there was a scene in previous episodes where they were still in Mexico, I think. And it was so random. It was when Monica was being kind of hard on him because she wanted to watch the fireworks and he wanted to stand there and talk to Garrett. And then when he kept coming back to apologize for being somewhat, I guess, neglectful of her, he just kind of, Elisa, made it seem like he made a random switch to, well, what if a woman wants to do this to me? And he started talking about very random sexual things. So I'm like, has this been kind of brewing since then? Like, did you start texting this woman since then? And then sleep study was the perfect time to like let it all out, because that was so random.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was a little bit skeptical about the sleep study. But then, I saw the interview that Monica did with the Viall Files, and she did a couple with like Entertainment News. And then Monica did say in those interviews that Steven and her went to dinner, a few hours before he did go to the sleep study.
Yeah.
And they had a few drinks. But she also said he was in no way drunk. So my perspective, and I'm super, super excited to hear yours. This man already knew what he was doing. He didn't like her. He just wanted to be on TV. He wanted to get his fame, like I mentioned in part 1, that most of these men do. And yeah, I just feel like now he was like, okay, well, I slept with her. We're back in, the DMV area. How can I get out of this? I'm going to see if I can open up some text or anything. And then, by the way, also Monica mentioned that she scrolled all the way to the top of the messages, and it had been going on for a while.
Which is what led me to thinking about that scene when they were still in Mexico. But I don't think they had their phones at that time. Phones when they were in Mexico. I think they're only allowed to get it when they get to the apartments. But to me, it made it sound like this has been going on for even before the show started. Like he probably carried on dating. I'm shocked that none of his exes have popped up, or none of those women have popped up saying like, this is not the man you think he is, because...
Girl, I saw one of his exes on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
On the clock. But we were going through comments so she never confirmed or denied, but it has to be him because she is a Caucasian lady, and there was no one else that was going through a messy situation as we've seen these last couple of episodes. It was only Steven, and he seemed like the type that she would be talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, not surprised there.
But yeah, I have to find that. But yeah, there's a lot brewing, and I love the fact that now everybody's coming out of the woodwork.
Yes.
And when I say out of the woodwork, you know where I'm getting to?
Oh, I know where you're going.
Ashley and Tyler.
The jaw dropper of them all. Like, Tyler.
We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
We were rooting for you. What a horrible, horrible behavior. Like, I want to say horrible human, but I don't believe that everybody is horrible. But like, I felt so bad for Ashley. It was hard to watch because like, prior to even it airing, things were bubbling up. Things were starting to come out about potential kids and all of these things. So then watching her being so trusting and being so loving and so accepting and like planning, and this man is talking about, being a stepfather to her dog, and let's have 7 kids, probably because he knew maybe she would say 4 and you already had 3. Mr. I spent Christmas alone, but then there's proof online that you didn't.
So let's clarify that really quickly. So Tyler apparently was a sperm donor,
allegedly,
in quotes, allegedly, to 3 to a woman, a lesbian. She was married to her wife, and Tyler donated his sperm for this woman and her wife to have children. So he says. And now what he mentioned to Ashley while they were, like in Mexico, saying he spent Christmas cooking vegetables or something by himself. And come to find out, Tyler has been with his friend. He's been with this because they are friends, right? Because they're always together. He's always with the kids. And he's not just a sperm donor, as he made it seem.
He's active.
And he said it's active. Yes, he's very active. There are pictures. He's taking them for photo shoots. Like, you are a father.
Right. You had matching pajamas at Christmas. The year you said you were eating alone.
Yes. Okay. And also, through a little bit more digging on, the clock app, I also saw that he did an interview. I forget who was interviewing him, but he did an interview, and he mentioned that he was recruited by a casting producer via LinkedIn. He also said that he never knew about Love is Blind. He never heard of it before.
Right.
And they recruited him, and he figured he would give it a try. So I'm not saying that a lot of these situations are somewhat scripted, and I just feel so bad for the women because they come on these shows to find love, hopefully, But the men, unfortunately, what it's looking like they're not really as serious, and they're looking just for clout.
Yeah, clout or but how can you hide children? Like that was, and then I did see a little extra behind the scene thing on the Clock app as well, where someone said in an interview he didn't want to discuss the children on camera. He asked Ashley to talk about it off camera, but then Ashley wanted to talk about it on camera. Of course she did, because you're not about to make her look like she's insane when she either maybe dumps him. I don't know. We'll see if she still says yes. But like, of course, you're not going to make her look crazy on camera if she all of a sudden has like an emotional reaction and then we don't know why, you know. And then there was also news that allegedly he owes a few women money. One of them like 30 grand, the other one a couple of thousands. So not only are you out here fathering children left and right, you owe people money. So like, what's the story here? He is such a fraudster to me. Like, is this Love is Blind swindler? Like, I'm confused.
And speaking of fraudster, so I didn't even notice, but apparently his job title also changes quite a few times. And I went back and I was like, oh.
Yeah. It was like nuclear something assistant.
Was Netflix trying to drop hints?
Apparently, somebody was trying to drop hints. And then there was a scene also, I think also when they were in Mexico, where he was having a conversation with Ashley and he said, you know, later on, you know, when we get back, you might hear like he's not that nice. You know, when people in my life might start saying things about me. And Ashley being like, oh, no matter what they say, it's okay. Of course, because not thinking it's about to be 3 children and thousands in debt. But just no matter what they say. Yeah, he was pretty much like, here's a little leeway. Don't say I didn't warn you that something might go wrong. And she did something that I think a lot of women do, which is just like, you know, we start to kind of hear what we start to hear what we want to hear, and kind of just, oh, he's probably not talking about anything that crazy. Oh, but he was.
Yeah. No, he was giving her the tea. He was letting her know what it was. And unfortunately, I know last time we spoke about those two, if they were going to work out. What are your thoughts there? Are we thinking that they're going to make it to the altar? Or are they actually going to
pray that Ashley has packed her bags. And by the time we see her next, I pray that she either gets to the altar and says, absolutely not, or she's not even going to go on trying to like put on the dresses and things. Because if he can lie about something so large and be this dishonest this early, what else is going to happen later on?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think they're going to, but hey, we'll see what happens.
So that last scene where, you know, she reaches in for a hug and she's like, let's talk about this. It was interesting because I understand the dynamic at that point, because when he lied to you, but then I also understand wanting him to feel comfortable into telling you more. But girl, no.
Yeah.
No. You should have walked out, left us behind in that apartment. Mm-hmm. It was too much for me. I really I was literally
shocked. There were so many like shocking moments with each couple, conversations happening, which I'll tell you more about the theme that I noticed at the, you know, towards the end, but just shocking. And that, like you just mentioned, that hug at the end was the only thing that made me say, maybe this woman might say yes at the altar, because if she's willing to forgive this, and this was the only thing that was wrong, granted it was like a large issue.
It's huge. Really big.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And he said the producers apparently didn't know either. So.
Which he fire whoever recruited him. Can we say that?
Honestly, we can. But you know what it is? It's giving that they weren't really expecting these men to actually get married to these women. Because if you really were actually interested in finding people's lives partners, you would do a thorough background.
Absolutely. A quick social media search would have answered their questions.
Like his baby mom's mother has been posting all over Facebook.
Right.
Literally all over Facebook. it was just really disturbing. But speaking of disturbing, Marissa's mom.
Talk about another moment where I was like, I have so many thoughts.
Please,
I have so many thoughts. Marissa's mother, with all due respect, the respect that is due, not anything extra. Right. Mm-hmm. How dare you sit up there, hypocritical as ever, talking to that man as if you have lost your mind, completely rude, talking to your daughter's fiance. She just seemed so bitter. She seemed so bitter. Yeah. She said she said something along the lines of the first two men in her life, hurt her or, were not good for her. And she was referring to Marissa's father and stepfather. So you're telling me the first two men that you chose to be in her life did her wrong. And now because of them, not only do you not believe in forever, you're also imprinting that onto your children, who, by the way, you have multiple fathers of a whole volleyball team. And now you're sitting there bitter and judgmental and like ripping this poor man apart. And he handled it so well. Yeah. He handled it very well. And I loved that Marissa came back and was like, I don't need your approval. Yes. She went as far as calling her a B word. Like, this is your daughter. Whose side are you on?
Exactly. But then that's just how unhinged she is, right? So she, from the jump, was just super hectic. She was bringing in the baggage that she had from all her previous relationships and all the men that did her wrong and all the men that did her dirty, that wasn't there for her and her children. Right. They were poor, right? She mentioned that Marissa's sister said that they couldn't afford mittens, right. So they had to wear socks on their hands. And I'm saying, like, as a mother, no shade, but as a mother, you have more than 2-3 children, and not being able to provide for them because of the choices that you made, right, and the men that you chose. Not just one child, but 2, 3, 4, 5. That was really jarring to me. And unfortunately, I think that's another therapy session that needs to happen. And I also think Marissa said, yeah, she needs to go to therapy. And I was like, yes, I agree with you, girl. Your mom needs to go to therapy.
For sure.
Because she's bringing in a lot of baggage. Aside from Marissa's mom, because we already know she's nuts, she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But can we also get into Ramses and why he's not ready for children, but then he wants Marissa to do what she wants and maybe not take birth control, but then he also doesn't want to have condom sex.
Let's even walk it back to, why is this conversation just now happening? Why wasn't this the discussion prior to you becoming sexually active at lunchtime once y'all got to Mexico? Like, why wasn't this serious conversation of family planning and sexual safety? Why wasn't that happening to begin with? And now fast forward, you're having a conversation retroactively, and he comes in first, understanding of, oh, this might be harmful to your body, to then, well, it needs to be enjoyable for the both of us. You're not ready to be a father. She is. And then on top of that, you're not willing to do your part to protect the both of you? Yeah. No, absolutely not.
I think I may be misremembering, but I really, really believe that he did tell Marissa that he wanted to have children within 3 to 5 years. But I think he did say that. Okay. And if that was the case, but they were having, non-condom sex, no condom during sex, then you obviously have to know what those repercussions are.
Right.
Marissa's ready to be a mother. She wants to have children as soon as possible. She says she's 31. By the time you want to have children, I'll be 35. It's a lot. It's late.
Right.
So I totally get that. But the scene where he goes, well, like he said, it has to be enjoyable.
Okay. Why is it all on her?
Right? She said she's fine. She doesn't mind.
She was like, sure, let's go for it. If it happens, said, okay, you're going to be a father. Are you ready for that? And silence.
But then she also said, yeah, I like condom sex. She's like, the best sex I've had is with a condom. So it's not her issue. It's yours.
It's your problem. And then he also irritated me. And one of the reasons why I said, what conversations were they having? Because I remember last time I was talking about how passionate they are and it's a lot of fire that's going to fizzle. And
Yes.
I think we can
Yes.
start to see it fizzling because they're starting to have deeper, more important conversations. Now, why in the world would you become serious, propose to this woman, knowing she has such a strong family foundation in military services? She's been in the military. And for him to seem like such a, I'm so woke and profound in my knowledge of things, you certainly have to be aware of how deep the mentality goes for military families, for the pride that goes with that. And so you have to know that even if she's never going to go back, it's ingrained in her. You know, she was in it for 8 years. So now to fast forward to that conversation they were having where he's almost like making her feel really bad for being a part of the military, you know, and for saying, like, I'm proud of what I've done. So you knew all this before getting engaged. And I love the fact that when they shifted the scenes to him meeting her friends, one of them was like, but you know, like, this is like, she's very proud of being in the military, you know. And I understand where he's coming from, you know, when it comes to not believing in war and all of that, and I absolutely get it. But for most people where that is such a foundational value for them, they don't typically date outside of that. You're not going to date someone, if you're completely atheist, the chance of you dating somebody who's Christian are very slim. Similar foundational values where it's just not going to work.
Yes, I agree. Now, dating someone that just doesn't share the same moral composition, doesn't share the same values, that's something you don't want to play with. But you did mention in the last episode that their fire was definitely going to fizzle, and we are seeing that a little bit more, especially with that last conversation with you know, sexual relations, her getting ready to, you know, have a baby. He's not really open for it. He wants to give it a few more years. And I will say this still, like, it was giving manipulation when he told her, yeah, you know, you don't have to go on the pill, but you know, like, it has to be enjoyable, and I don't like condom sex. So what's the other option?
Right.
Like, you're acting like you're supportive, but
not really supportive.
Yeah, he was trying to manipulate that situation.
I agree.
And I will say this, a couple that I'm a little bit worried about, and let me know what you think too. I'm a little bit worried about Garrett and Taylor because of that move to San Diego.
Yes.
I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Is he the one, remind me again, he's the one that's moving for her?
For her, yes. Her family is in San Diego. His family is in Virginia. So she wants to be around her family, raising her new family with Garrett, and she wants to be on the West Coast. And she did say that in the pods, and he said something along the lines that he's open to it. But let's put that in the back seat for a little bit. I wanted to talk about also, before we get to the moving part, because I feel like this is a little bit more important. When she met Garrett's parents, I didn't really feel that they were extremely welcoming of her.
Yeah.
I felt like they were skeptical of the situation, which is fine. But your son decided to do this. He is an adult. He's a grown man. So let him make that decision. He made that choice, and now he's engaged to her. And they were giving me, like, you know, they were standing up and not really, like, talking to her. And honestly, a part of me, and I hate to say this because I don't know Garrett's family, but from what I see, and also how he displayed a little bit of a off character in the pods when she told him that she wasn't white, a part of me is thinking that unfortunately this has something to do with race. Taylor is not white passing.
Yeah,
she's an Asian woman. She is a beautiful woman, but she's also Asian. So that situation made me a little bit uncomfortable when she met the parents, and then also when when Garrett told her, like, my mom emailed me earlier this morning. Like, why is your mom emailing you about your fiance? What's going on?
Yeah, that was weird.
Pick up a phone and call you,
right?
Like, I don't.
A text message.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was uncomfortable watching that, like, kitchen scene with the mom. I thought I was giving them the benefit of the doubt that it's cameras in their house. This is a new situation. this must have been really quick. Their son, who they're used to just fishing and working, as he said multiple times, has now brought home this woman, and they're having trust issues. So I'm giving them the benefit of a doubt in that sense, but I would be lying if I said that I don't think that the race is a part of it. Add that on top of the shock factor of him becoming engaged in a matter of a few weeks, and then it's also to a woman of a different race. Because had he been a little bit different in the pods when she mentioned that, then I wouldn't think so. But it kind of led me to believe that, okay, maybe he has some reservations, or his family does. It might not even be him. Maybe his family does, and that's why he had the apprehension that he did.
Yeah. And also go and experiment like that.
Right.
You must know that there are going to be different types of women there.
Right.
I was really, really happy that Taylor was adamant about not telling Garrett what her race was. So kudos to her for that.
Yeah.
But that San Diego move is worrying me a little bit. She's talking about it a little bit too much, and he's like, yeah, I'm open to it. From my experience, if you've seen earlier episodes of the Jeremy podcast, when a spouse moves for the other, it can get a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And especially when it's to a place where the other person suggested and it wasn't a mutual decision. Yeah, it can get messy really quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what's really worrying me with that situation as well.
Yeah, I hope that they make it work, and he does, make them, even if it's not an immediate move, at least give it some time for them to kind of build that foundation in their relationship and then make the move. But to just start the relationship and then immediately move, that's a lot of huge changes in such a short period of time. Like, you got to give it a little bit more time to just solidify the beginnings of the relationship. He seems excited about it. I mean, they got fishing in San Diego, there's a lot of water around, so hopefully he can make it work.
Good for him. But yeah, I know they're in the next couple of episodes that they're going to be releasing. We'll see him in San Diego meeting her mom, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, especially because she didn't even want to be on camera or be, part of the show at all. So yeah.
No, I think it was her dad. Her dad didn't want to be on camera.
Okay.
But he did say he would walk her down the aisle, but he didn't want to be, on camera as far as that. I didn't know. I didn't know her mom didn't want to be on camera either.
I think she said it was like her parents in general didn't want to be on camera. I could be wrong, but I feel like she said it was her parents. Yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking of parents, another scene that really was like, it hit me really, really hard, honestly, was Alex and Tim.
Yeah.
The family. She mentioned in the pod that both of her parents have MS. And I just felt like that scene, Tim said all the right things, did all the right things.
He did.
Taking a look back as to how we left them on the first part. We were trying to understand what this situation was that happened on the island. And now seeing them together here with her family, asking for her dad's, blessing. It was super sweet.
It was.
And then on the flip side, we saw her apartment.
Can I say, between the last time we saw them versus now, I now feel like Alex is the problem. I mean, I thought she was the problem a little bit before, because she just didn't seem to care about him as much as he did for her. And there were a little bit of, boundaries crossed and all of that in there. But seeing her place, and I was like, girl, you knew the cameras were going to come. Like, you knew, and you still left it like this. And the scenes with the families were like, he did a lot. He read the letter to her dad and all of that. If he does all of that and then says no at the altar, like, but I will say that if he says no, in the back of his mind, maybe, I don't know these people, but the fact that he lost his sisters, like he had traumatic, he's lost a lot of close people in his life. And then both her parents have MS. I would wonder if he thought about how that would affect their relationship, because if it is genetically passed down, that could be a concern. Like, what if she also gets MS? What if their children get it. Like I'm not too, I don't know how MS, how that works and all of that. But I wonder if illnesses are a concern for him, because if he's experienced loss the way he has, surely there has to be some concerns and fear of losing another loved one. And if potentially these illnesses can be passed down, that's a concern.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I never thought about it like that. And another thing I just remember just now talking about it, being that he lost his two sisters and Alex has been, both her parents have MS. I wonder if in the pods, because they were crying a lot in the pods, I wonder if they were trauma bonding.
Yeah. That's why I was like, when they left the pods and we started to see a bit more of their colors, like in Mexico, like, I don't think that she really liked him, also probably because of that. I think it became very comforting and, look at this man crying and being vulnerable. So it seems like he's a great man. He's honest, and him feeling like, oh, someone listened to me. That communication piece is very important these days, in the dating world. You're great to talk to. I can talk to you all day, because maybe it's my past life of being a therapist, but that can very easily turn into like, oh, I really love you, the fact that you listen to me, and then it's like, oh, that was it. You just like the conversations, but not exactly who I am. And I think that could be the case. But then he has shown so much love towards her and her family, but she still gives me the, I love him, but like, I don't know. I don't know if she likes him.
Yeah, she just might be the problem. And finally, our favorite couple of them all, Hannah and Nick.
My goodness, what a mess.
I just want to say she is the problem, but
they are both the problem, babe. They are just, my goodness. Where do we even start? Hannah is mean. Her family knows it. She's been rude the whole time. She does not like this man. Honey, you don't like him. Maybe you love him or you want to love him, but you don't like him. So it's okay. Walk away. Okay? Her insecurities are flaring. She does not like him. That's all I have to say about her. Nick, you are allegedly a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm all for, sure, you want to live with your parents, save up your money, all of the things, because the economy is economying, doing what it's doing. Inflation is inflating. However, you can't boil water. You can't boil pasta. You can't boil pasta. You can't figure out how much water to put into the pasta. Sir, do I have to teach you everything? And I think that's the problem for Hannah since the pods. She wants to be so feminine. She wants to operate in more of a feminine energy of like, have the man take care of it, judging by all her questions of, can you fix the TV? Can you mount the television? But I think her realizing just how immature Nick comes across is making her more like operating more in like a more masculine energy. And I think that's definitely a big ick for her based on and I don't blame her, because if you can't do that, can you at least call somebody, hire somebody to fix it if you can't do it? But then you don't have the money to do that. But neither does she, because Mayhem quit her job to come on the show, which is probably why she's still on the show, because she was like, damn it, if I quit my job to be on here, I'm going to stay on to the very end. I'm going to get my clout. Like, I really think that's the only reason why she's still on there.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't like him.
She doesn't like him. But she's just so persnickety. And when someone is just nitpicking at everything you do, they don't like you.
They don't.
You.
He couldn't make her laugh if she tried.
She told him, I vacuum every day. Ma'am, you live by yourself. Why do you vacuum every day? Your dog doesn't shed. Why are you vacuuming your house every day? I understand being a neat freak, but she's no Adrian Monk. Like, are you sure you don't have some sort of OCD? Because why are you vacuuming every day? And she's telling him, oh, well, I asked you to take out the trash, but you should just do it. You should know how to do it.
Without him even trying yet.
She was literally picking at everything that he did. And I was just in my head saying, WTF, calm down, Hannah, the entire time. But then also Nick is like, come on, grow up. You're a man child. Your parents pay for your phone. You don't even pay for your car insurance. Do you even pay for your car? What bills do you have?
Right.
You don't know how to invest in stocks. How old are you? Grow up.
When she asked the stocks question, I was like, oh my God, this is not it. This is not it at all. It's not it. They don't belong with each other.
I think someone said this. I think it was Nick's mom or dad, one of the two of them. They said to the cameras, they were saying that Aunt Hannah's gonna, make Nick grow up. But I'm thinking, this is this man's first relationship. He's never said I love you to a girl. This is not gonna be.
I missed that part. He's never said I love you to a girl?
No.
Okay. All the more
He's
reason.
never said I love you to a girl. This is not going to be his last relationship. I'm sorry.
It's not.
It's not.
This is practice.
This is exactly. And especially because he is with Hannah right now and she's just nitpicking at every single thing. Unless he wants to have another mother.
He might. He's used to being taken care of by his parents.
But she's not going to take care of him.
She's not. But I think that criticism, that like constantly belittling. Well, I can't say that word, sorry, without an accent slipping out. But like that constant picking on him is so unhealthy. Like clearly he's not, you don't want him, so don't pick at him. Like, for what reason? And that scene with her brother where, he said a joke back to her and she seemed to take offense to it. And he was like, oh, that's how it is. We all kind of like walk around on eggshells, because she can't take a joke, but she can, dish it out. It's like, that's a flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah. And also, why wasn't that brother there when they were with her parents?
I picked up on that too. It was like he had such a big personality, and this seems to be very close to her. But then for the main family gathering, he just happened to not be there. Yeah. Is there something going on with the family?
The internet was saying that that's not her real family.
Not the way the father called her out.
They were like, that's not her family. They don't like her.
Nobody likes her.
They don't like her. Like, why did you get cut off at 18, ma'am? What happened?
Nobody likes her. And I think the internet, somebody was like, somebody was like, she's just mad because her parents cut her off early and didn't pay any of her bills. That's why she's so harsh with Nick, still living with his parents and stuff. And, maybe it is, but if nobody likes you and you low-key don't like yourself, because she came across as insecure from the beginning. With her image, she came across as insecure. So, but they both lied about their physical appearance. So we're not even going to rewind back to that. Mans said he was giving Travis Kelce. And she went on and on about people, wanting her just because she's hot. I was like, okay.
All right. She said she was here in high school. But, being that I've been on social media now, because there aren't any more spoilers, right? So I've been catching up on TikTok and Instagram. So I actually stumbled across a lot of their pages. And the one that I'm super, super surprised about was Hannah. She lost weight.
Makeover. That's not just weight. That's she found a great doctor. That's not just weight loss, baby. That's I'm no shade at all. No shade. People who are brave enough to go do surgery and fix up whatever they feel they want to fix up, if it's coming from a fulfilled place, all for it. But honey, that face gives work done, which she looks, she looks good, but it just is what it is. Honey was like, I need a makeover if this is the kind of man that I'm attracted.
Yeah. So I mean, so now with that being said, like I want to get into just like our final thoughts. Will they or won't they? What are you thinking so far?
At this point, love is blind until they open their eyes and see all of the things going on behind the cameras. It's not blind until I think Garrett and I think they're the only couple that I think would say yes, as long as he's willing. They're both willing to compromise because they're so busy with their work and having to move out of state.
Yeah.
I think maybe Alex, and I keep forgetting that man's name.
Tim.
Tim. I think maybe they'll make it, but giving no at the altar. I'm guessing that Alex is going to say no at the altar. I think he's going to say yes and she's going to say no. I'm just running down the list and then you can tell me your list of people, but I think Hannah and Nick are definitely a no. I will be shocked if they say yes. I think Ramses and Marissa are a no. Well, Monica and Steven are already over. She collected her money and said, "I'm good to go."
How much did he send her? I really want to know how much he sent her.
Right. Yeah, and Ashley and Tyler, I don't think they're gonna get married. I don't think they're gonna get married. I think she's gonna go to the altar though. I think now the rest of them will get to the altar.
Okay.
And before they say no. Now, unless somebody else pop out with some kids, who knows? I think Hannah and Nick for sure will get to the altar as well.
You think they will?
I think they'll get to the altar, and then one of them is going to say no. Hannah she quit her job to be on the show. She's not about to go home without being filmed in a wedding gown and going through the experiment. Of course, she has to get the clout that she came for.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I think I agree with you. I'm only right now on Team Garrett and Taylor, but I'm still a little bit worried about them. But I really want them to make it. There hasn't been anything too life-shattering or life-ending that I think won't allow them to at least make it to the altar, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley, I don't know, girl. I'm a little bit torn with this one because the internet. The internets have been saying that she's been liking posts supporting her in his relationship, and it doesn't look like they're not together. But I don't know.
That's interesting.
I feel like I'm gonna try to take the internet out of my mind for now. But from what I see with Ashley, I feel like she's super strong. And I think she's Nigerian too.
Is she?
Shut up. I think so. I gotta look
all
into
the more reason why I will be shocked if she says yes, because what?
I think she is. I gotta see though. I gotta do some more research and dig in there. I'll come back and find out. But yeah, I hope she doesn't go through with it, because Tyler is giving, this is just the beginning and I have more. And apparently he was engaged to someone, and he took her to the baby shower of his baby, thinking that she was thinking like, oh, this is just his friends. Our friends are having a baby, and she finds out like a couple of months later, no, it's his baby.
He is a menace to society. That man is a man. And even if you're like, we're hoping that she doesn't do it, but even if she did get married to him and they said yes at the altar, by the reunion it'll be over, because it's possible that she believes the whole sperm baby thing and didn't get all of the facts right until later on, after she had said yes. So if they do get married, I think they'll be divorced by the time the reunion comes around.
You're absolutely correct. I think we're on par, we're on point, same thing, same thoughts here, especially with Alex and Tim, Garrett and Taylor, Hannah and Nick, Marissa and Ram. Yeah, right now it's only giving Garrett and Taylor.
The season started out so strong. So good.
I don't know what Netflix is doing, but I feel like they're gonna throw another loophole into this third part, and then we'll finally have the reunion. But it's giving.
They need to do better with casting. Cast some mature people. Whoever casted the people in the UK need to come over here. Not that they had better luck either and that they all got married or anything, but at least they seemed mature and a little bit more, I don't know, interested in actually getting married and being in a relationship.
Well, let's hope for the best. And we'll see if eventually season 7 lets us know whether or not Love is Blind. It's giving, like you said, it's not blind. I'm going to sleep with one eye open.
Right. It's not blind. They need glasses. They need binoculars. They need investigational, Discovery Channel. They need everything.
In hindsight, we would want it to be blind, but we all know that love isn't the only thing that makes a relationship. It's the commitment to it, it's commitment to the other person, loyalty, lots of other things.
So many things. Yeah. And the theme that I mentioned earlier is that maybe Netflix cuts out a lot of their conversations in the pods, but I don't think they're asking I don't remember anybody really digging deep in like their past relationships or really asking more in-depth questions about important topics like the politics, the military things, the religion, the finances. Like those are all important questions that love will get you past the pods, but the other things will break you up if you don't figure it out and at least be on the same page.
Yeah,
So
you're right. You're right. I think the hard questions weren't being asked as we didn't see them. And then when they were sharing some hard things, I feel like it was just being like glossed over. Like Steven and Monica, she was saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you cheated," and like he was telling her, but she wasn't really like listening. Like I feel like maybe the nerves were there of just like wanting to see who this person was and wanting to discover, but they weren't really listening. They were just a little bit more anxious than anything else. So yeah, I can't wait for the other episodes to drop because I need to know exactly what's happening.
I need to see it. Let's see where this goes.
I need to know. And then we're, gonna do a wrap up and then just hope for the best at that reunion. And then we'll find out who actually made it. Right?
Who stayed married if they got married.
They got married. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with me again.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
As the younger, don't they do this now? Let me get off this camera so I prove how old I am. They said like my nephew who's like 10 and like they said they do this now instead of like this. Look at me throwing up gang sounds like a podcast. Let me go.
My fingers can't even. I don't even know. My fingers can't.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, girl.
Bye.
Thanks.